Welcome to the Impact of Educational Leadership podcast with ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. This show was designed to provide an exclusive forum on educational achievement gaps related to learner success while discovering relationships and family issues in a diverse setting.
All right, well, this is another night of the Impact of Educational Leadership. This is episode 29. I'm your host, ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. Tonight's panelists are BRYAN, Buddy Thornton, and Mr. Arthur Robinson. First, let me begin with tell you a little bit about Ms. BRYAN. She's an educational advocate. BRYAN, now in her 30th year in teaching and educational consulting as an executive member of the National Education Association for Educators. She serves on two committees, the ULE Carter International Scholarships Committee for Delta Kappa Gamma and on the Oversight Committee for the Human Resources Committee. Before her educational consulting services, she graduated from Anderson College and was awarded the first Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship. She is also has become a local figure and a civil rights leader. After receiving her bachelor's degree from Anderson College, Indiana, she received a master's from Southern Mississippi, Hattiesburg. And then she later on went and got another master's degree from the University of Granada, Spain. So she has become the who's who in America's teachers. So excited to have her tonight. Also, we have Mr. Buddy Thornton. Mr. Buddy Thornton is a Bachelor's of Science in Allied Health Sciences, University of Wisconsin, in 1984. He has a Master's in Human Services Counseling and Executive Leadership at Liberty University. He's a doctoral learner, completing his dissertation at Grand Canyon University. As branding as a positive social change agent through effective coaching and mentoring focused on education and family dynamics. A board member of Parents Foul and board member of Brokenness to Healing Foundation. Last, we have Mr. Arthur Robinson. He has a Master's in Education Administration. He's a candidate for superintendent certification. He is an advocate for unions and the members they support and represent. NEA Director of Region 14 and a strong supporter of public education. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the people.
This is Buddy, and hello, I'm honored to be here.
Hello, this is Delna, and it's a great honor to be here with the two gentlemen this evening.
And I am very honored to be here on the show tonight.
Absolutely, so glad to have you all here. Well, tonight's topic is one that is sweeping the nation. Tonight's topic is the coronavirus, COVID-19, and public school districts in Texas. A new type of coronavirus, abbreviated COVID-19, is causing a widespread epidemic. While the health risk in the United States has become the highest in the world, it is important to plan for any possible long-range defense procedures as the risk levels increases in the future. Concern over this new virus can make children and families anxious. It is very important to remember that children look to adults for guidance. Tonight, we have some experienced cadre on board with us tonight. They're going to talk to us more about some ways we can make this happen. First, we have the Honorable BRYAN. So my question to you is, how do you feel about the way your district is handling this pandemic situation in Dallas ISD, Texas?
I am a teacher, a proud teacher in Dallas ISD. Dallas Independent School District has been battered, bruised, devastated. But I am proud to say that they have handled this coronavirus or COVID-19 in an exemplary way. I know of no other school district that would have sent home close to 100,000 students with their laptops or their Chromebooks. All our students went home on March 13th, ready, prepared. Teachers were told how to go online, how we would access Google Classroom, or we would have used what site we already have to prepare our lessons for the students. So we hit the ground running right after spring break. There was no pause. We know we have a lot of students that are going home and they would have nothing to eat. We had schools already in place in Dallas ISD that would feed the students breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was proud to be able to speak to several principals, to several trustees, to several administrators in the higher echelon to know how well we were handling this crisis. They were handling it in an exceptional way, and there was no pause because periodically things came out from the district. Our superintendent held training. You spoke to the community, you spoke to the public. We had a virtual school board meeting last Thursday to let people know what is going on, to allay all their fears. So everything that they could think of was put in place. The students who were not able to have internet access, we had everything put in place. We knew that Spectrum or Frontier or whatever great internet company would connect them for 90 days free. So whatever the administrators above us, they were notifying us as teachers to let our students know, to let our families know what was going on. I cannot say anything more than kudos to my school district, and I look around on Facebook and other social medias that similar things were going on in school districts all around the great state of Texas. So I think we all stepped up to the plate and we really knocked the ball out of the ballpark on this crisis. We did allay quite a few fears that parents, students, the community might have had about what our school district had in place on how to handle this pandemic, this situation, from a wonderful standpoint from all those involved.
Ms. Bryan, as you were speaking, there is just this sense of respect that I have for you and all the panelists, as a matter of fact, with the experience, with the international perspective, with the global lens. You spoke about the trustees in Dallas ISD. You spoke about the superintendent in Dallas ISD. You spoke about how they hit the ground running March 13th. You spoke about how teachers were available with Google Classroom, and that even the school gave out computers. They gave out laptops to all the students, over 100,000 students. They issued them out before school was out of session. Then you added in that they had feeding for the children. I believe it's the grab and go. My goodness, you gave so much from that districts. Ms. Delma Bryant, thank you so much for what you bring to the table tonight. Mr. Buddy Thornton, my next question is for you, sir.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Mr. Thornton, my next question is for you, sir. What changes can we expect in public education and quality of life? Let me say this, Mr. Thornton, he lives in Phoenix, Arizona. So we are bringing in another school district from another state, another city. So with that being said, sir, what changes can we expect in public education and the quality of life in your city?
Well, I don't believe that it's localized to any one specific city. As the nation and as the globe combats COVID-19, one of the biggest things that's going to happen with quality of life is the family unit, however you want to define the family unit, is going to shelter in place, and for better or for worse, families are going to get to know each other a little bit better. One of the things that a lot of people do not understand is that the dynamic for parents is that in a normal situation, they get to spend about 35 to 37 minutes a day with their children. Quality time is just absent from the calendar. It doesn't exist. Now we're in a situation with the outbreak that families are going to have to be crammed into interactions that they're not comfortable with, that they're not used to, but we all tend to evolve into a much higher plane when we're forced into that situation. What we've seen here in Phoenix and what I read from other areas of the country is that families are finding some very inventive ways to interact and to get closer together. Parents are able to explain and allay fears with their children, especially the younger children. The older children, middle school and high school students, obviously have a lot of questions. And since we can expand that 37 minutes a day to a much greater number, now parents can actually spend the time exploring the reality of what COVID-19 brings to the table, and they can share their fears and they can share their knowledge and they can learn new knowledge together. This is an opportunity that has been absent especially in America, for several decades. It's an opportunity that hopefully we don't waste. Public education is going to learn just as rapidly. They're finding out that kids do want to learn. Kids want to learn even if it's distance learning. They want to learn even if they have to lean on their parents more than they have traditionally in the last couple of decades. And parents are actually finding out that they are a critical part of the public education system, which is not something that's always defined very well. They think that teachers teach and parents parent, and unfortunately that's not the dynamic today. Today the dynamic is teachers can put things on the plate, teachers can be an access point, parents have to be the additional resource for their children, and they can make or break this situation by how they interact with their children at home. That's going to be the tipping point for how well we come out of this on the other end, when the kids go back to school and they actually tell their teachers, you know, I really respect what you've done for me, I really respect what you've been able to provide for me, and now my parents, because of the way we've had to handle things, can see how valued this interaction is between the three, the parent, the student, and the school system.
Mr. Thornton, I so respect what you bring to the table. You are a sought-after mediator, public speaker. I like, how you tie in what you do every day. You do this conversation, this discussion, you do this every day. This is your profession. Now we're going to be forced to socially interact with our children. Okay, and so we're going to now be that enforcement of the resources, right? And if we do it correctly, if we do it if we try to do it, if we put forth the motivation, if we put forth the effort, then we will go up to a higher plane and we will adapt and overcome. I love the way you put that. It was so simple. It was, I like to call it Ooga Booga style, caveman style. If you can't understand that, listen to this podcast again and slow it down and rewind it a few times and share it with some people. But again, Mr. Thornton, thank you so much, Doctor. My next panelist here tonight, I'm so pleased to have him here with us representing his district. That is Mr. Arthur Robinson. Now, my question to you, sir, is this. What community services are there out there in your community to help people in your district?
Thank you, Mr. John. First, I want to say thank you to the first responders, the many teachers across this great land and country that have had to improvise and go to a different teaching style for a different learning style, which students are at home, and also the city workers, as we find city workers don't get that to stay home. They have to get out there and make sure that we maintain basic life in the city. So I'd like to say my heads go off to those aspects of the people out there trying to help us. Now, community. When I sat down with the superintendent and the president of the board before this all came down, we saw it and we were trying to figure out what was going to happen. One of the first questions I asked is, what type of resources are we going to have that's going to be out there for not only just the students? We're concerned about the education of the students, but we also need to take care of the staff who can stay well and above, or they can take care of the students. Because education has gone. We cannot have a lapse in education. And some of the things that were told to me, I checked it out, and actually I am a volunteer, and found out that some of these services, as it was told to me, came true to the fact that the rent, a lot of people are having problems, the teachers, of covering the rent that they have. They must live also and maintain where they're at home because they're working at home, but they got to be able to have a home. So what has happened is the pay, the superintendent valued that the pay would not be interrupted for neither staff nor teachers, which allows them to continue to pay their rent. Also, as far as the rent is concerned, you find that across in Houston, the apartment rentals and homes, mortgages and things like that, the state Supreme Court has issued a ruling that no one can be evicted, and at least come up with that until April, when this thing may end, as they think it'll go in. That's coming from the community. Also, we're worried about food. We together, we in conjunction with the community, we feed our students, a lunch, breakfast and lunch in my district, in Houston and in the surrounding districts. The communities are helping out because what's happening here is anyone that needs meals, we also have the Houston Food Pantry, and the community also helps with the senior citizens, not just the district, on Meals on Wheels. I sent out updates to my membership of TSTA, Texas State Teachers Association, on what they can do as far as volunteers and to check on the elderly, because sometimes they're living by themselves, and see what type of resources they need. And I've also asked them, if you know a senior citizen that's in need or someone, contact me, send that to me so I can match them with these resources in the community so the community can reach out to them. We have also some resources where they're helping people with utility bills, and the district, teachers, because teachers are definitely the mainstream in trying to get these students continue to have their education. Other than that, the food pantries and things like that, I make sure that I'm in touch with members and non-members, the ones I have phone, to make sure they have what they need and know that which stores, I give a list of stores that you can buy stuff and have it delivered, like Best Buy, even grocery stores, curbside. It's a troubleshooting thing. And I've also put together a little group. I'm in that little group, which is part of the community, and I'm the only teacher in that group, where the community is giving back, where each time one of us go out, they have to contact the other 5 to 6 people. Then we contact each one of us got probably 5 to 6 other people, find out what they need so we can minimize people going out. And all of it comes to my house, and then, of course, I go out to deliver it to their front doors, and they come out and get it after I leave. So it is a community effort, and I like to say that ALEAF, Texas State Teachers Association, and Texas State Teachers Association out of Austin, we are working with volunteers across the state to volunteer to help these teachers and our non-members to make sure they get what they need as far as resources. And that's the main thing, resources. You got to have resources to be able to match up with these people so they can have a way of standard of living that we can maintain.
You know, Mr. Robinson, when I listen to you speak, sir, I cannot help but to just know that America was founded upon teamwork. It was founded upon people rolling up their sleeves, getting their hands dirty, risking their safety, risking their time, sacrificing their time. And sir, that is what I like to call a beautiful human being. And I want to thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, this is a very sensitive topic that we are covering tonight. The updates are coming almost hourly. The cases are increasing. I want to use the word dramatically. And I'm so pleased to have Ms. BRYAN on with us tonight. My question for you, Ms. BRYAN, is this. What are other nations doing to counter the anxieties during the COVID-19 outbreak?
Other nations across this globe are doing a phenomenal job. If you are abreast of what China is doing, what England is doing, what Canada is doing, what Latin America, my home country, Panama, is doing, they are all coming together as one united group in this globe to do a wonderful job. Whether it's testing their people, whether it's calling for them to be in isolation, whether it's calling for them to be quarantined. It might be hard to ask some citizens to be quarantined. Some are calling it social distance. Here in Dallas, in the United States, some places are calling it sheltered in place. Whatever it is, these nations are encouraging their citizens to come together and be one. The curve for this epidemic went down in China because their people listened to the government asking for quarantine, social distancing. It went down in Italy. It went down in Spain. I have spoken to my friends over there who let me know that they were only allowed to go out with permission. They had to have permission to go to the drugstore, to the supermarket, or to the bank. Otherwise, they were locked down. My family all around I have spoken to, and they're paying close attention to what their local health organizations are saying. They are keeping abreast of what the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland is saying. They're listening to what the CDC in Atlanta, Georgia is saying, and they are taking this pandemic seriously. it's very unclear how this virus is spread. There's still a lot of unknown, whether the virus is airborne or whether it's droplet spread. We all know that it's fast moving, and it's moving around the globe in waves that we have never seen a virus move before. So I would continue to encourage my people here, please pay attention, be alert to what is being said in your local area. Listen to the public radio station. Your public radio stations do a fantastic job every day. KERA here in Dallas keeps us abreast of what is going on. Let us know that we can come together as one in unity to curtail our anxieties. All we have to do is read a little more, listen to different channels, whether it's your radio or your television, and know what is going on with the fast-moving COVID-19 that we're experiencing. We need to know what is going on around the world, what we can put in place by following what other countries might be doing, and how to go about it. Some have a little more experience than we do here in the United States. Listen to what they're doing and take heed, follow what they're doing. Thank you.
No, thank you. And with that being said, Mr. Thorne, let me ask you a question to piggyback on what Ms. Bryan just put out. Where can people go to find help for bills within your county and your community?
Well, the question that you sent to me earlier, I took the time to investigate resources, not only in the Arizona communities that I live in, but also in the broader North Texas area, which is where Dallas and Fort Worth are located. And what I found is that obviously your internet search engine is your friend. There are literally over 100 resources listed for the North Texas area. Way too many to mention during a podcast. But what you have to realize that long-standing charities, long-standing organizations that have been helping people are going to be stretched incredibly thin. In the Dallas area, an assistance organization like the Catholic Charities, or the food banks, or select churches, volunteer organizations that actually step up and feed the homeless, feed regular people who are possibly more disadvantaged than others. These organizations are all going to be stretched extremely thin. So as opposed to finding help for the bills, which you should be able to do a search and you should be able to do a reach out. And if one organization is not going to be able to help you, they will certainly point you in the direction of one who can. But I flip it over to the other side. This is not a time for anyone to shirk their civic responsibilities. 100% of people are in this boat. It doesn't matter what your demographic is. It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is. We're all in this boat together. Those who have much owe much and should give much. It's your duty to reach out and help, especially if you have the ability to help, and those who need the help will be taken care of as best as possible. I found the same resources in Arizona that I did in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a commonality that humans love to help other humans, especially during a crisis. But what we need to understand is where we sit in that hierarchy. If we have the ability to help others, then we, by all means, should help others. That doesn't mean you have to put yourself at risk. It doesn't mean you have to leave where you are. Simply making a donation to one of your local charities so that they can bridge their very stretched thin resources and create more opportunity to help other people, can show dividends to 100-fold. It's like I say, it's impossible to list all the resources, but they are there. What people need to understand is that they don't need to panic. They need to understand that they can find the resources, but if they have the ability to help, they need to step up.
With that being said, Mr. Donald Brown, let me go to you again. I'm going to ask you another question. How can school leadership maintain and sustain positive school instruction within the Dallas-Fort Worth community?
The school leadership that we have in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'd like to reiterate, are doing a wonderful job. They are allaying the fears of the adults and the students that we have in our communities. The positive way that they have gone about it, I would only encourage them to continue in this positive way that they have expressed what is going on to the best of their ability in a calm demeanor. They have expounded what is going to happen, how it's going to happen, from a very truthful perspective, constantly giving updates, touching bases with their stakeholders. And I think that the school leadership can only do better than what they're doing. All of them can step up to the plate. And we saw this when we heard from all our school trustees, all the administrators, from technology to school leadership to everyone, that you know and understand then that it's just not one person putting things in play. It's said that it takes a village to raise a child. We are seeing this. It takes a whole community to put what is needed together during this crisis. I would say kudos to school leadership for explaining in that matter-of-fact way, that calm way, what is needed, what is going on in their respective districts. Continue to do that. The students, the children that are listening, because they're all listening, they're all curious. We know that our students are very curious. They will have their fears allayed, and they will not panic, because you as an adult are not in your panic mode to transmit that to the child, to the student. Just continue what you're doing as school leadership, as teachers, because some of your students are in touch with you every day. You know who they are. You know which ones their buttons are pushed and they go into panic mode. Talk to them. Continue to talk to them and elevate them out of their fears. Bring them to an understanding that this too will pass. This is for a season and a reason. We are going to learn from this, and we are going to grow from this. We will come out in a better way from all of this at the end of the tunnel. When we go back to school, we'll all be in a better place because of the way it was handled by the adults, by all in leadership positions around the country, around the state, around the respective districts, around the local districts. This would be a win-win situation as we learn and grow from what we are doing now. Staying calm and getting the word out. Thank you.
We would like to thank each and every one of our panelists tonight. This was a very powerful discussion, but that will be something that we will talk about in the future when we have them back on. You have been listening to another night of the Impact of Educational Leadership. This was episode 29. I'm your host, ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. Our panelists tonight are Delma BRYAN, Buddy Jordan, and Arthur Robinson. Thank you and good night.
Welcome to the Impact of Educational Leadership podcast with ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. This show was designed to provide an exclusive forum on educational achievement gaps related to learner success while discovering relationships and family issues in a diverse setting.